With this session update, I'm Shannon Lurkey. Both the House and Senate have passed their respective budget bills. Senate Majority Leader Paul Gazelka and Deputy Leader Michelle Benson spoke to the press about the conference committee process and the upcoming negotiations with House Speaker Melissa Hortman and Governor Tim Walz. Here's that media event.
Well, good afternoon. As you all know, that we have passed all of our budget bills. Meetings will begin this afternoon with the governor and myself and the speaker and other senators and other staff. Senator Benson will be one of the key people that works with us, Senator Rosen and Senator Miller. I just want to address a little bit about the process right now. There has been a little bit of a confusion, but once the budget bills are passed, the nonpartisan staff with our staff start putting the bills together. That's beginning right now, and that will continue through the weekend. We want the chairs to meet. In fact, we had a couple of our chairs that had reached out. The tax chair and jobs chair reached out, and they had actually set up meetings for Monday for the beginning of what we were going to do, knowing that all of the side-by-side information had to be put together by the staff. And so I'm not sure why there's some pressure now to make those meetings on Friday. Frankly, we haven't even appointed our last two groups of conferees, but I just want to say we are working. It's moving forward. We're going to get this stuff done. It's not going to be easy, but the process is working, and I thought you should know just a Senate perspective on how that works. With that, Senator Benson or I will take any questions on any issues you might be concerned about.
Are you members deadline for targets within reason, or is that unlikely?
So the question is, are Monday deadlines reasonable for the targets? This is a bold desire by myself and the Speaker and the Governor, which is why we came out and set those dates. All prior periods of time that we wanted to meet have been met, including getting all the budgets off the floors by May 1. We're going to meet today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Monday to see if we can find targets. We're all trying to get to that spot, but we don't know. We've never been down this path to try to get it done this early.
Will Senate conferees and those four committees that are scheduled to meet, will they not go to those hearings?
Could you repeat that?
Will the Senate conferees and those four committees that are scheduled to meet over the weekend, will they simply not attend those hearings?
No, I think we'll have some people attend. It's just a bit frustrating for us because all the side-by-side information is not done. The typical process is for staff, nonpartisan and partisan staff, to put all of it together. So it's difficult to do a lot before they understand completely where we're at. But I think they will show up. I think it's a good idea for them to be there. But I want to say that their original intent from both the House and Senate in some of those committees was to meet on Monday first, and then the House leadership asked for it to be earlier.
Senator, Governor Walz is going to hold a court class on the healthcare provider tax, saying it's not negotiable. What's your stance?
So I will answer that, but I want to have Senator Benson speak to that first.
Well, I want to thank you very much. As you know, the debate has been provider tax and OneCare. Those are two things the governor wants, and they're linked. And so I think if the hospitals are going to stand up and cheer for the provider tax, they should be asked about what OneCare does to the hospitals in the state of Minnesota. Can they survive on the Medicare reimbursement rates that are in OneCare? So until that question is clarified, I don't know how these two inexorably linked ideas can be non-negotiable. So I look forward to hearing from our healthcare system about how they're going to survive on the OneCare rates. It's a question I've been asking for a very long time, and we haven't gotten public clarity, and I haven't heard the governor answer it. And so we can talk about a lot of things, but until we have agreement on what happens with the governor's proposals, I think everything should be negotiable.
Yeah, and I'll add just a little bit more to that. So we've put the 10 budget bills together, plus the tax conformity bill. All of those bills combined is a 5% increase, or $2.2 billion of new money. And so we're saying each piece is interrelated. And so that's a piece where the governor needs to raise a lot of money for the extra programs he wants to do, like OneCare. We're simply saying, let's pass the 2-year budget with the resources we have. We have $1 billion of surplus, and we can absolutely do it with a 5% growth, living within our means. But that will be the big discussion over the next 3 weeks, and we'll see if we can get progress in the next 3 days.
Is it possible you could offer an extension of the healthcare provider tax for 2 years and delay this conversation?
Tom, I hate to tell you, but I'm not going to negotiate with the media.
Speaking of
yeah, you're good at it.
Speaking of negotiation, budget targets without agreeing to some of the sources of revenue, and if there are revenue
So the question is, could we not do budget targets without agreeing some sort of where the money would come from? And yes, I think that would be accurate, that we could set numbers different ways. We could agree that the revenue is going to be the $47.6 billion. I think that's the number. The governor's 8.5% up. We're 5% up. The House is 9.5% up, but that could be part of the conversation. That I'll give you.
Paid family medical leave, is there any room for you to budge on that?
Paid family medical leave, as it's coming out of the House, is $1 billion tax increase, and that's one of the, if you combine the 4 years of tax increases, it's over $12 billion, but $1 billion of that is on the employee and the employer. And so I've always said that it can't be mandates. We'll look at carrots or encouraging people. So if there's something that the employees want to participate in, I guess we're open, but another tax on the employee and the employer is not going to be where we go.
Is it fair to assume that the committees that the Republicans have the gavel on will not meet before Monday? Is that the preference?
No, the question was, will all Senate meetings where we have the gavel all meet on Monday? I'm letting each of the chairs decide to do that. That was our plan. That was our plan with Representative Hortman, is let the chairs lead where they know they need to lead. I think that it'll take a while to get all the conference committee reports together, the side-by-sides we call them, but if they want to meet earlier, there's no reason on my part that they can't.
Can you categorize the meetings that you're going to be having all weekend and also the meeting that you're going to be having this afternoon?
A little louder, Esme.
Yeah. Can you categorize the meetings you're going to be having all through the weekend, through Monday? And also, can you kind of talk about your thoughts about the meeting this afternoon with the governor at 4:30?
Yeah, well, I heard the first part for sure.
Okay.
So the first meeting is really just going to be, this is really the first meeting where all the budgets are done, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. I don't expect anything as far as momentum on this first meeting. This is kind of getting a sense of where each of us are and how do we move from here. From there, tomorrow and the next day and Monday is you never know. That's what we don't know about the negotiation process. I've been through this one time with a different Speaker of the House, with a different governor. This governor and this Speaker of the House are brand new. They've never been through this at all. And so I don't know yet how we're going to be, our interplay is going to be.
Speaking of that, so far, is this process more functional, since you're the only one who's been through this before, and you and others called the process dysfunctional?
Yeah, I think so far we're on target. We're actually in our plan. That plan is ahead of where we've ever been before at this point, starting to meet with the governor. We all agree that we want three-way targets. I'm not going to negotiate with the House and then with the governor. It's just like Governor Dayton said, he wasn't going to negotiate with one Republican side and the other. And so we're all in agreement that three-way targets is how we get to the end. And so all of that process is really good. And I might point out, yesterday I even gave a compliment to the governor where he was willing to think differently on MNLARS, and we took a look at data that was outside of the Senate, House, and governor, and said we should take a different path. That we did. And so that's the kind of thinking that if the governor has, we have, and I hope that the Speaker does, that can get us to a finish line in a good way. I even had my hearing aids fixed today, but you got to talk louder. It's super louder in here. Yeah.
Is that on the table for you?
Do you want to mention that first? We're talking about first?
If you
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I think we overall need to decide how much more we're going to spend. We have more than a 5% increase in the budget, in our budget as constructed. And so I think before we start talking about specific revenue types and what Minnesotans are going to be impacted by them, I think we need to trust the Speaker, the leader, and the governor to set those overall targets. At this point, I haven't heard Senator Gazelka say no to anything but the gas tax, but frankly, there are a lot of us who are uncomfortable with any tax increase, and so we're going to manage through this process really thoughtfully.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say about any senator could have the idea that gets us to the end, and so I'm never going to turn away an idea. We're going to listen to them, but at this point, we want to make the case to the people of Minnesota that our budget at a 5% increase is where we ought to finish. And so we're going to work with the governor. We want to convince the people of Minnesota that really don't want another tax increase. That's where our budget positions us. 5% growth using the $1 billion surplus, but no tax increase. And so that will be one of the big discussion points. But as far as getting to the end, senators and others are welcome to give us ideas. I consider any idea worth listening to.
What about the idea that's passed where the minority caucus has to put up the majority of the votes along with a few members of the majority? Would you rule that out?
I won't rule out anything to the end of session. We got to figure out how to get over the finish line. I believe in the end we'll have a bill that the Republican majority in the Senate will put up most of the votes for. I'm not sure about the House. I think they're a little more fractured. I can't speak for them. But in the end, we want to pass a bill that all of Minnesota is going to be proud of. Senators and representatives, we're not always going to like everything that's in those bills. That's part of compromise. But in the end, I think we'll pass a product that's good for Minnesota. So,
Thank you.
sorry. Thank you, guys.